It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspectives of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is being brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on local radio WMOA AM 1490 and ESPN radio WJAW FM 100.9 and AM 630. It's now time for the show. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Energy Insights on a Saturday morning. Johnny Wharf again with Congressman Bill Johnson of the 6th Congressional District. It's so nice to be able to walk up the street, knock on the door, or make a phone call, and you're always very open to come and join us on the radio, and we appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Talk a little bit about your background for folks that don't know, quite a bit of time in the Air Force, and maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. Before the Air Force, Johnny, I was born and raised on a two-wheel wagon rut mule farm. We farmed with mules up until I was about 13 years old. No indoor plumbing. Every day was a survival day. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. If you didn't harvest and store it up for the winter, it was going to be a rough time. My grandparents on that little farm that I was raised on would go to the grocery store about once a month to get things they couldn't grow, like salt, sugar, vinegar, and things like that. But after I got out of high school, I couldn't get a job. My mother, I was pretty much raised by a single mom because my dad was an alcoholic, so she spent more time running from my dad than living with him. So we were all over the place, like nomads almost. But I couldn't get a job because she had started me to school when I was 5 years old. You had to be 18 to get a job. So I waited, and throughout the winter after graduation, I said, I got to do something. So I went and talked to the Air Force recruiter. Never in my wildest imagination did I fathom the ride that I was going to be taking, that I would emerge nearly 27 years later with 2 college degrees in computer science at some of the country's most prestigious computer science schools, and flying jets and working with some of our nation's heroes. I grew to love our country in a way that's hard to explain.
It makes me sit up a little straighter, I will tell you that right now, Lieutenant Colonel. And talk a little bit about like the energy embargo crisis, and if there was anything maybe that would have affected if you were the flight instructor or anything that you were involved in.
You know, as I remember it, I was certainly in the Air Force during the Iranian hostage crisis and the embargo that resulted. I remember the fuel lines. To get gasoline, you had to stand in line. They wouldn't sell you more than $20 worth. You couldn't fill your tank up. You had to really plan your trips if you were going to see family because you had to stop frequently. Those were the kind of inconveniences. Bigger cities had bigger problems than places that I lived. You can only imagine what a metro complex would be like with gas lines down the street. For the military, I did not see a lot of impact. We have a strategic reserve here in the United States that we can tap into in emergency situations, and I believe they did that because I didn't see any pullback from training. Operational missions, doing the things that were needed to be done to keep America safe and secure.
Any other correlation between energy and the military? I assume the biggest would be obviously protecting their resources.
Well, protecting the resources is a big deal. Obviously, the military has driven a lot of the technological advances that we've had in our country, and I know you mentioned on one of our previous segments to talk a little bit about technology, and we can do that whether it's computing technologies or energy technologies. You know, how do you power these fighters and the bombers and the missiles and the infrastructure that's needed to keep America safe? We are the largest nation on the planet, largest economy on the planet. There are those that are trying to catch up with us, China being one of them. And it's imperative that we do it right and that we're cost effective and that we're efficient. So utilization and protection of our energy resources is a big topic of conversation in the military.
All right. Well, we thank you for your time here on this program, Energy Insights, and again, pleased to have you back again, and we appreciate you being always so willing to come and join us on the radio. Bill Johnson, Congressman of the United States and our 6th Congressional District. This is Energy Insights on a Saturday morning.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA and ESPN Radio WJAW as Johnny Wharf brings you your local and inside perspectives of the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley.